Hello everyone, so this is a video I've been putting off filming for a few days. I knew I wanted to film it sometime this week, and at the beginning of the week I was like, okay, I'm gonna film it, and then I just never got around to it. But now we are here and we are discussing my favorite books and my least favorite books of 2022. But wait, before this video gets any further, I just posted my 260, we're up there now, like maybe it's, hold on, let's see. 269th video on YouTube, and I think I may want to try to start introducing myself at the beginning of videos. Another reason why is because we literally have 89 subscribers, and I'm not sure everybody knows my name by now. So, hello, my name is Kyler, and I'm a mess. As in, my channel is a mess. Right now, it's looking scarce. We don't have that many things, if I'm being honest. But y'all are still subscribing, so thank you. This video, I hope, is going to get a few more views than usual, because I feel like this is something people look forward to watching. If I don't watch a YouTuber, I usually make an exception for videos like this that come along when they discuss their favorite books, because that's just like a summary of their year. Mainly I care about the books that they really loved or the books that they really hated. So honestly, this year was not like remarkable in terms of reading, at least when it comes to finding books that I really loved and books that I really hated. The books that are like my least favorite, I'd really describe them as the most disappointing more than least favorite, because I guess I just had high expectations for them. There aren't any books that I was like, oh, I hated this so much. And honestly, if I hate a book, I just stop reading it, and I finish all of the books that are on like my most disappointing / least liked list. So that's something to keep in mind. Before we get started with the list of my favorite and my least favorite, I'm actually going to count and read aloud every single book that I read this year. Granted, I am filming this on the 29th of December, and I'm hoping for like the few next days to do a lot of reading and hopefully finish a few books. So this list is not complete. Honestly, maybe I should have filmed this on like January 1st. I just hope, I guess, that I don't find any books I really hate or books I really love before the end of the year. And if worse comes to worse, I can just film a separate clip at the end of this video after editing the bulk of it and then do it by that. But anyway, this list is not chronological. Yeah, let's get started. So this is a list of all the books that I read. The Kite Runner, Our Dark Duet, Dear Martin, Dear Justice, Believing Lies, Sure I'll Be Your Black Friend, The Hate You Give, The Hill We Climb, Miss Peregrine, Home for Peculiar Children, Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, Pride, The Realm of Possibility, Japanese Proverbs, Wit and Wisdom, I'll Give You the Sun, Challenge Everything, Song of Achilles, Heartstopper Volume 1, Heartstopper Volume 2, Heartstopper Volume 3, Heartstopper Volume 4, Be More Chill, the graphic novel, What Do You Do When You Worry Too Much, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, Where Do You Get Your Ideas, Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky, The Picture of Dorian Gray, A Man Called Uva, Bloom, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, the graphic novel. Did I already say that? I already said that, didn't I? Didn't I? I did. Didn't I? No. I said Be More Chill graphic novel. Okay. Dear Edward, Perks of Being a Wallflower, Roller Girl, Awkward, O.C. Daniel, The Misadventures of the Family Fletcher, Sticker of Magic, One for the Murphys, Eddie, Red, and the something museum mile. I just have Eddie Red 1, like the first book in the series. Search it up yourself, I guess, or maybe I'll put it to the side of me. Lily and Duncan, Red Berries, Red, White Clouds, Blue Sky, A Heart and a Body in the World, Masterminds, Michael Vey, Prisoner of Cell 25, Hello, Goodbye, and Everything in Between, Line to Little Rock, On Writing, Thank You for Arguing, The Giver, Joshua Dredd, After the Shot Drops, Not Hungry, Full Cicada Moon, Because of Mr. Terupt, Princess X, Fish in a Tree, Frindle, Orbiting Jupiter, Enemies, Words on Bathroom Walls, Little Fires Everywhere, The Plots, The Last Lecture, Ace of Spades, An American Marriage, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World, If We Are Villains, Dinosaur Philosophy, It's Kind of a Funny Story, This Is Where It Ends, and We Are the Ants. I actually finished We Are the Ants a few hours before filming this video on the 29th, and that will be showing up later in this video, so, spoiler. Tell me in the comments right now, which one is it going to be? Is it going to be one of my favorite books, or is it going to be one of my least favorite books? Okay, so yes, those are all the books. If you're wondering the number, what is the number? How many books did I read? What's the number? Okay, to my calculations, I read 71 books this year, which is pretty good. I also think that I may have read a bit more. So first, what we're gonna do is list my most disappointing reads of the 2022. So I need to go get them actually. Give me a second. Okay, here are them. I don't want to spoil, so yeah. Okay, so I should also mention that we're gonna do 10 of each. So we're gonna have 10 most disappointing and then 10 of favorites. And again, I need to stress this. I didn't hate any of these books, but they were all disappointments. And that's why they're on this list, okay? These do include rereads, only because I reread a lot this year and I couldn't find 10 new reads, so yeah. And I also don't have physical copies of all the books on this list. We're just gonna go chronologically, okay? From when I read them, at least to my memory. So the first one is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. That's it, okay. Yeah, I had so high hopes for this book. I read this during a long weekend, I'm pretty sure, and I don't have a physical copy of this book because I literally donated it because I didn't want to have it taking room in my bookshelf, taking space in my bookshelf. It's about twins, a pair of twins named Noah and Jude. One is a boy and one is a girl, and it's told in like dual timelines, kind of. One is like present day and one is in past, I think. One sibling has a perspective of the past and another one has of the present, I'm pretty sure. A lot of people had recommended this book to me and I bought it and I got some time to read it because I had a long weekend and I was looking forward to it, and it just did not go well. And instead of rambling and talking about it, I am going to direct you over to a video that I made about it that is available on YouTube right now. So check out that video right here. Problems I remember having with it: the characters weren't all that likable. Specifically, no, I'm pretty sure there's the quotes that I still remember to this day, where he says, if my sister was drowning, I'd push her head under, something to that degree of weirdness. And yeah, I just didn't like it. I don't know. I think I had high expectations and it just did not meet the mark. Next we had Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, which is by Lori Gottlieb. I'm pretty sure I don't have a physical copy of this book either. Nor have I ever. I read it online. And this is really one of the books that I just added in order to get to 10. I don't remember this book that much. I don't know what I wanted to get it from it, but it is about a therapist and some of her patients, as well as her sessions with her own therapist. And I don't know, like, it's interesting. It's interesting. But I guess maybe I was just looking for more of like a self-help format. There actually is a companion book to it, which I bought, called Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, the workbook, which I have somewhere in my bookshelf. And I've realized something about myself as well, that I don't like filling out workbooks either, so it's kind of funny, but I guess it was more narratively based than I thought it would be. Like, it goes between different stories of her different patients. I remember one is named John. Oh, she uses aliases for all of them, because obviously, like, patient, therapist confidentiality. So one is John, one is Ruth, maybe. But yeah, like, their stories are interesting and they're real people, but like, yeah, maybe I just wanted more of a common thread through the stories or something like that. I don't know. Like, I can't remember a lot about it. Like, I can't, and I think the best books stick with you. I do remember her talking about a TV show that one of her patients named John was included in, and he ended up winning an Emmy for it, I'm pretty sure. And like, they described one scene from it, and I like searched it up and I couldn't find it, so yeah, that's literally all that I remember, really. Oh, and her therapist, was his name Wendell, maybe? I hope it helped some people, but it just did not help me. And maybe it's not supposed to help me, but yeah. Okay. Next, we have Our Dark Duet, which I do have a copy of. This is Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. Funnily enough, the first book in this series, called The Savage Song, literally made it on my favorite ever books of the sophomore school year list, and this just did not hit the mark. And it makes me really sad to say that, because I had high expectations. I loved the first one. Didn't get to my favorite ever bookshelf, but like, I think I'd consider like an honorable mention. And yeah, I don't know what it was about it. I think it was just it was pretty boring. It was pretty boring for my knowledge. And yeah, like, I feel like I skipped some of this book. I found an audiobook to it, and I listened to it mostly on audiobook, and I feel like I might have like fallen asleep and then woken up and then continued reading, and I never had paused the audiobook. I don't know. Like, the ending was interesting. And the beginning was interesting, but the middle just, I don't remember a lot of it. Yeah. I liked the author's writing style, however. I'm actually planning on reading a book by her called The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. My sister got it for, I think, her birthday last year, so she has a copy, and hopefully I'll be able to convince her for me to borrow it sometime. But yeah, it's not that I have a problem with the writing style, it's just the story, I guess. Yeah. This literally has one of my favorite characters ever in any book that I've read, August. So yeah. It was just a mess, I guess. And it makes me sad to say that. Then we have a book that I feel like is gonna maybe ruffle a few feathers, that I'm even putting this on the most disappointing book list. And that is, I don't have a physical copy, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. And this book has, can I say like a cultural phenomenon? That may be going too far, but I know a lot of people like this book. And like the movie, there's a movie, and it's popular, I know, but it did not do it for me. I'm exposing myself right now, but so last year I read it through the book club of my school, and I actually ended up finishing the book after the book club had finishing the book. The main reason why I don't like this book is I always tell people, as in tell you all in this YouTube channel, at least like one time before this, that The Hate You Give is a book called Dear Martin by Nick Stone, which I actually made a video about, coincidentally enough. That is shorter and it's more interesting, and it talks about the same thing, like police brutality, being a black person in America. So yeah, I just think Dear Martin is The Hate You Give done right. Like, I don't think it's even bad, but maybe I just think it's too long, and it just didn't captivate me the whole way through, I'd say. Yeah. Sorry. Next, we have Dear Justice by Nick Stone. This is literally the exact same situation, basically, as Our Dark Duet. I loved the first one, as I literally just mentioned it. Dear Martin. It is on my favorite book list. Somewhere here. Right here. Dear Martin. This is the second one. Dear Justice, and yeah, Dear Justice was boring. That's the reason why I didn't like it. It follows a person from Dear Martin who was only mentioned like a few times as he is in jail. It was boring. Maybe it's also because of like attachment to the character, because since we hadn't been exposed to it that much in Dear Martin, like the author is just expecting me to be thrust into his world after barely getting to know him in Dear Martin, I feel like. But again, as I mentioned with The Savage Song, it's not that it's written not well, wrongly, badly, I think that's the best word. And I want to read another book of Nick Stone called Jackpot. So yeah, I'm not writing off this author. Yeah. Okay. Next, we have Eddie Red. This was a reread when I read it. I think, is this the first reread on this list? I think so, actually, yeah. And it was a Nutmeg nominee, and I talked about Nutmeg nominees as a concept majorly in a video called like all the books that I read during the summer, which will be linked sometime around here. I don't need to put my finger up, it'll just be linked because either will edit it in. I feel like it was pretty fast paced. It wasn't like, it's a mystery novel, and comparatively to the other one mystery novel that I read, Sadie by Courtney Summers, which I love. It was one of my favorite books that I read during the school year last year. It just wasn't very like thrilling, I guess. Like I can't even really remember what happened. I can't remember any of the characters' name besides Eddie Red, because he's the name of the book, and that's that. I don't know. It is a series. I think it's a trio. That's not what you call a 3-book series. Triplets? No. This is really embarrassing. Is this gonna get me canceled? Duology? Trilogy, that's it. Okay. Trilogy. It is a trilogy. I don't think I ever am going to read the other books because the way that it ended, which I can't remember at this moment, does not want me to read on. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I guess I did read another mystery book. I did read one. Okay. Look out for that. In this video, actually. Okay, then we have On Writing by Stephen King. This is the only required reading on this list. I read this for AP Lang this year, and yeah. AP Lang is AP Language and Composition, and the courses focus a lot on argument. The other book that we read was Thank You for Arguing It. And just this book, comparatively, I feel like I learned less from, and it didn't relate at all, really, to what I thought a summer book for AP Lang would be about. The first half of it is boring to me. He just talks about his life, basically, what he remembers about his life, and then it's only in the second half where he actually starts talking about, like, things, ideas, recommendations he has when it comes to writing novels and stuff. I remember some things from this book, but yeah, honestly, I'd be fine skipping the first half of it. I listened to the audiobook, which is cool, which I think I recommend, I guess. Something that you'll learn about me, if you don't know already, is that I can't stand listening to audiobooks at 1x speed. Sorry, my camera died. Okay, let's continue. 1x speed, yeah, I don't like it. I read books at faster than 1x speed usually, but for this book I had no choice but to listen to it at 1x speed because I was reading it online. And I guess that was something that I didn't like about it. It was just maybe boring at 1x speed. Like, I feel like when I listen to an audiobook, usually that helps me read the book faster than what I'd usually read it at if I were reading it alone. But yeah, with this, I had to listen to it 1x speed, and it didn't work for me. Yeah. Let's move on. Princess X. Don't have a copy of this. By Sherry Priest. This is actually another mystery. It just wasn't good. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that. One thing that I had a problem with is that every single thing that the main characters were thinking actually happened. Like, there's no red herring in sight. They were just 100% correct about everything, I'm pretty sure. And, like, that doesn't make a good mystery, I'm pretty sure. So, I don't like that. Numbing nominees are chosen because they're good books, right? And this wasn't a bad book, but also wasn't like a surprising book, and there wasn't any element that I can think of, at least right now, that would make it a numbing nominee, like that special little numbing nominee little thing that they all have. So yeah, a bummer. Okay, then we have, and perhaps this is the most disappointing, Enemies by Svetlana Chmakova. I asked this for my birthday, and I got it for my birthday, and this is one of the books in the Berrybrook Middle School series. Those books also include Awkward, Brave, Crush, and Diary. Diary and Enemies are my least favorite books in that series, and that's saying a lot because literally on my bookshelf, they're not here now, maybe it's on the bottom bookshelf, on my bottom shelf of favorites, yeah, they're right there. They're literally part of my favorite books ever. Those 3 first ones, Awkward, Brave, and Crush. Then just went downhill from there. I don't know. So Diary was a kind of like not entirely chronological story. They're like a lot of, they're like little short comics in there and like something else that I can't remember. I can't even remember, like I I don't know, something else. I mean, it was like, I feel like it was a length of a regular book, right? But it wasn't like following a specific character or anything. I can't even remember what happened in that book, which is always not a good sign. But this one did have a chronological narrative thing. It just didn't hit as well. I don't know what it is. It just follows a character that we've seen before, which is following with the theme. Like Jensen was a character in Brave, and he was involved in Awkward, but he only had a small role. And then Jorge was in Brave, and then he had his own book Crush. And this follows Tess. I think her name is Felicity. Sorry, I think Tess is her sister. Nope, Letty is her sister. Tess is a character in the series. Yes, okay, I think she has blonde hair. I think this is Tess right here. But here. But yeah, I don't know what it was, but it did not go well for me. And like, I was really disappointed. I read it one day, I was so excited, and like, okay, finally, what we have, the last book, is Where Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson. David? Yes, Sean David Hutchinson. Yeah, I just finished this book, as I mentioned before, and it was not good. It was not good. Well, okay. I think I bought it maybe sometime during the summer. Yeah, I had just had expectations. Yeah, it did not do well. It has a very interesting plot, although I haven't talked about the plot of every single one of these. I've talked about some of them, but this is going to be one of them that I talk about. It's about a person that is visited by aliens every single year. Is it once a year? I don't know. Multiple times through his life. And they're giving him the option to save the world or not, and there's a button that he presses, and if he presses the button, that means that the world will not be destroyed, and if he doesn't press it, then the world will be destroyed. And this whole book is basically him deciding whether or not he wants to press the button. His boyfriend just committed suicide, and he's just been having a tough time, and it's like his brother's really mean to him. It's like, it's not looking well for him, and he's just really contemplating whether or not. I thought it would be like one of my favorite new books, and it just wasn't that. And if I could return it, I would. I don't know if it's too late to return it, though. It probably is, so yeah. I don't know. So a couple of days ago on YouTube, I was looking through just my recommended page, and I saw a video of somebody's favorite books of 2022, and that specific video was like about 45 minutes, and I was like, I'm gonna skip this. I did end up watching it, but I ended up watching it in like 2 times speed. But anyway, using that same logic, plus what my sister recommended me to do a few minutes ago. Yeah, I think it was a few minutes. I'm going to split this up into 2 parts. The first part you're about to finish after this clip, and that's going to be my least favorite books. And then the second part, which will be releasing this Friday, will be my favorite books. I think this makes more sense, and hopefully, at least it gets you like excited for a video in the future. Maybe. So yeah, thank you for watching this first part. I will see you on Friday.